California Real Estate Exam Quick Review. Question 1. Before Ben starts showing a single-family home for pay, which relationship is required for a salesperson licensee? Option A. Employment and supervision by a licensed responsible broker. Option B. Registration with the county recorder only. Option C. A verbal approval from any property owner. Option D. A membership in a local trade association. The correct answer is option A. Employment and supervision by a licensed responsible broker. A salesperson must be affiliated with and supervised by a responsible broker before performing licensed acts. County recording does not create brokerage authority. Owner permission alone does not replace the required broker relationship. Trade association membership is voluntary and separate from licensing authority. Question 2. A broker receives deposit funds connected to Olivia's offer. Which fiduciary duty is most directly involved? Option A. Subordination of a deed of trust. Option B. Accounting for money and property entrusted to the broker. Option C. Riparian use of water. Option D. Constructive eviction of the tenant. The correct answer is option B. Accounting for money and property entrusted to the broker. Accounting requires an agent to safeguard and properly report money or property received on behalf of others. Subordination concerns lien priority rather than fiduciary accounting. Riparian rights concern water use connected to land. Constructive eviction is a landlord-tenant issue. Question 3. How can an agency relationship most commonly be created in a sale of a vacant parcel for Jonas in Ventura? Option A. By ordering a pest inspection report. Option B. By recording a grant deed in the agent's name. Option C. By express agreement such as a listing or buyer representation agreement. Option D. By paying property taxes for the owner. The correct answer is option C. By express agreement such as a listing or buyer representation agreement. Agency is commonly created by agreement between principal and agent, often documented in listing or buyer-broker agreements. Ordering an inspection may be part of a transaction but does not alone create agency. Recording a deed transfers or affects title rather than creating brokerage agency. Paying taxes does not itself create agency authority. Stressed about your California real estate exam? We can take California real estate exam for you remotely and undetected. We always guarantee a pass and payments only after results. To send us an email, scan the code or tap the link in the description and let's get it done. Question 4. How should Eva handle buyer qualification standards across applicants for a rental townhome? Option A. Use different standards based on national origin. Option B. Skip standards for applicants with children. Option C. Ask only some applicants for proof of income based on appearance. Option D. Apply consistent, lawful, and documented criteria to all applicants. The correct answer is option D. Apply consistent, lawful, and documented criteria to all applicants. Consistent lawful screening helps avoid discriminatory treatment and supports fair housing compliance. National origin is a protected characteristic and cannot justify different standards. Families with children cannot be singled out for special burdens or exemptions based on bias. Appearance-based documentation requests create unequal treatment risk. Question 5. A buyer signs an offer on a mixed-use building, but the seller changes the price before accepting. What is the seller's changed response usually called for Tarek in Pasadena? Option A. A counteroffer. Option B. A deed restriction. Option C. A quiet title action. Option D. A fully executed contract. The correct answer is option A. A counteroffer. Changing a material term before acceptance generally creates a counteroffer rather than an acceptance. A deed restriction limits property use and is not a negotiation response. A quiet title action is a lawsuit to resolve title disputes. A contract is not fully executed until all required acceptance and delivery elements are satisfied. Question 6. Two unrelated buyers take title with unequal shares and no survivorship language. Which ownership form is most likely for Andre in Los Angeles? Option A. Life estate per otra vie. Option B. Tenancy in common. Option C. Joint tenancy. Option D, rote. The correct answer is option B, tenancy in common. Tenancy in common allows unequal shares and does not include automatic survivorship unless otherwise structured. A life estate per autre vie is measured by another person's life. Joint tenancy typically requires survivorship and equal interests. Severolte means ownership by one person or entity. Question 7. How does recording a deed usually protect a buyer of a warehouse condo for Lena in Long Beach? Option A. It proves the purchase price was fair. Option B. It makes the lender forgive the loan. Option C. It gives public notice of the buyer's interest and may affect priority. Option D. It eliminates all easements. The correct answer is option C. It gives public notice of the buyer's interest and may affect priority. Recording places the document in public records and helps establish notice and priority against later interests. Recording does not prove value or fairness of price. Loan repayment obligations are not forgiven by recording the deed. Existing easements may remain even after recording. Question 8. When title will vest in a buyer's name, what is being determined for Miguel in Chula Vista? Option A. The seller's moving date only. Option B. The commission split between brokers. Option C. The exact mortgage interest rate. Option D. The form in which ownership will be held. The correct answer is option D. The form in which ownership will be held. Vesting describes how title ownership is held, such as by one person, spouses, or co-minus owners. Moving dates are possession and contract issues. Commission splits are brokerage compensation issues. Interest rate is a loan term. Are you looking for California real estate exam actual questions? Visit our website pokerexams.com to access California Real Estate Exam Study Guide with actual questions and answers. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description to get California Real Estate Exam answer key today. Question 9. Why might a borrower choose an adjustable minus-rate mortgage instead of a fixed minus-rate mortgage for Sophia in Sacramento? Option A. The interest rate can change under the loan terms after an initial period. Option B. The loan is never secured by real property. Option C. The principal balance never has to be repaid. Option D. The borrower receives title insurance for free. The correct answer is option A. The interest rate can change under the loan terms after an initial period. An adjustable minus-rate mortgage has rate terms that may change based on the note and index provisions. Real estate loans may still be secured by the property. Principal repayment is still required under the loan contract. Title insurance costs are separate from the interest minus rate structure. Question 10. A broker receives earnest money from Owen. Where should those funds be handled if not delivered to escrow or the owner as authorized? Option A. In the broker's personal checking account. Option B. In a broker trust account or other legally authorized trust fund arrangement. Option C. In a salesperson's vacation account. Option D. In cash until the buyer removes contingencies. The correct answer is option B. In a broker trust account or other legally authorized trust fund arrangement. Trust funds must be safeguarded and handled according to trust account rules or lawful written instructions. Personal accounts create commingling risk. A salesperson's vacation account is not an authorized trust fund location. Holding cash casually can violate accounting and safeguarding duties. Question 11. Why is the transfer disclosure statement important in many residential sales for Grace in Modesto? Option A. It records the deed of trust. Option B. It replaces all inspections. Option C. It provides seller disclosures about the property's condition and features. Option D. It guarantees the buyer's loan approval. The correct answer is option C. It provides seller disclosures about the property's condition and features. The transfer disclosure statement is used to disclose information about residential property condition and related items. Recording loan documents is a separate title process. Inspections still help verify condition beyond disclosure statements. Loan approval depends on lender underwriting. Question 12. How does the cost approach estimate value for a newer special-use building for Malik in Fresno? Option A, seller equity plus escrow fee. Option B, gross rent multiplied by mortgage interest. Option C, buyer income divided by commission. Option D, a land value plus improvement cost minus depreciation. The correct answer is option D, land value plus improvement cost minus depreciation. The cost approach estimates site value and adds the cost of improvements after subtracting depreciation. Seller equity and escrow fees do not measure replacement cost. Rent and interest do not describe the cost approach. Buyer income and commission are not components of this method. Question 13. How is capitalization rate generally calculated for an income property for Elena in Anaheim? Option A, net operating income divided by value or price. Option B, gross rent divided by number of bedrooms. Option C, loan points divided by escrow fee. Option D, a property tax multiplied by commission. The correct answer is option A, net operating income divided by value or price. Capitalization rate relates net operating income to property value or price. Bedrooms may affect rent but do not create the cap rate formula. Loan points and escrow fees are financing or settlement charges. Property tax times commission is not an income capitalization formula. Question 14. Why is habitability important in managing residential property for Carlos in Monterey? Option A. It determines the appraiser's license number. Option B. Landlords generally must maintain basic living conditions required by law. Option C. It eliminates all tenant duties. Option D. It sets the buyer's loan minus to minus value ratio. The correct answer is option B. Landlords generally must maintain basic living conditions required by law. Residential habitability rules require landlords to maintain essential conditions for occupancy. Appraiser license numbers are unrelated to habitability. Tenants may still have duties under the lease and law. Loan minus to minus value is a financing calculation. Question 15. How does zoning affect Diego's plan to convert a mixed minus use building into a different use? Option A. Zoning is the same as title insurance. Option B. Zoning guarantees financing approval. Option C. Zoning controls permitted land uses and development standards. Option D. Zoning removes all deed restrictions. The correct answer is option C. Zoning controls permitted land uses and development standards. Zoning is a public land minus use control that regulates use, density, and development standards. Title insurance protects against covered title defects, not land minus use permission. Lenders make financing decisions separately. Private restrictions may still apply even when zoning allows a use. Question 16. Why can an underground storage tank matter in a real estate transaction for Layla in Bakersfield? Option A. It always increases appraised value. Option B. It replaces the need for flood disclosure. Option C. It transfers title to the city. Option D. It may create contamination, cleanup, or disclosure concerns. The correct answer is option D. It may create contamination, cleanup, or disclosure concerns. Underground tanks can present environmental risks and potential remediation obligations. A tank does not automatically increase value. Flood and environmental disclosures address different risks. The city does not receive title simply because a tank exists. Question 17. How can a property tax lien affect title transfer for Nate in Santa Barbara? Option A. It may need to be paid or otherwise resolved to deliver clear title. Option B. It automatically creates joint tenancy. Option C. It removes the need for escrow. Option D. It gives the buyer a free appraisal. The correct answer is option A. It may need to be paid or otherwise resolved to deliver clear title. Tax liens can encumber property and are commonly addressed during title and closing. Ownership form is not created by a tax lien. Escrow is often used to resolve liens rather than avoided. Appraisals estimate value and are not created by tax liens. Question 18. Why is promptly presenting offers important to a principal for Anika in Oakland? Option A. It gives escrow authority to reject offers. Option B. It supports the agent's duties of loyalty, obedience, and diligent service. Option C. It allows the agent to choose the buyer personally. Option D. It eliminates the seller's right to counteroffer. The correct answer is option B. It supports the agent's duties of loyalty, obedience, and diligent service. Agents should generally present offers as required so the principal can make informed decisions. Escrow does not decide whether offers are acceptable. The agent does not choose the buyer for personal reasons. A seller may still reject or counter offers.
Stressed about your AccuPlacer exam? We can take AccuPlacer exam for you remotely and undetected. We always guarantee a pass and payments only after results. To send us an email, scan the code or tap the link in the description and let's get it done.
Question 19. Why can poor record keeping make a trust fund dispute worse for Miles in Santa Rosa? Option A. It increases the square footage of the property. Option B. It automatically raises the loan interest rate. Option C. Incomplete records make it difficult to prove receipts, disbursements, and balances. Option D. It converts a lease into a grant deed. The correct answer is option C. Incomplete records make it difficult to prove receipts, disbursements, and balances. Trust fund disputes depend heavily on accurate records showing what was received and paid. Square footage is a property measurement unrelated to records. Loan rates are set by credit and market terms. A lease does not become a deed because of paperwork quality. Question 20. Why can misrepresentation in a real estate transaction lead to license discipline for NIA in Palm Springs? Option A. It is handled only by the county tax assessor. Option B. It automatically becomes a zoning variance. Option C. It is allowed if the buyer signs quickly. Option D. It violates duties of honesty and lawful practice under real estate regulation. The correct answer is option D. It violates duties of honesty and lawful practice under real estate regulation. Misrepresentation undermines consumer protection and may violate DRE law and regulations. Tax assessors do not regulate license discipline. Zoning variances address land use, not deception. A quick signature does not excuse false statements. Question 21. How do HOA assessments affect ownership costs for Silas? Option A. They are recurring charges used to fund association obligations and services. Option B. They cancel property taxes. Option C. They are always voluntary tips. Option D. They pay the buyer's broker commission only. The correct answer is option A. They are recurring charges used to fund association obligations and services. HOA assessments are part of the ongoing cost of owning in a common interest development. Property taxes remain separate. Assessments are not voluntary tips when properly levied. They fund association expenses rather than broker commissions. Question 22. Why must eviction procedures be handled carefully in California rentals for Clara in Stockton? Option A. Changing locks is always allowed without notice. Option B. Landlords generally must follow lawful notice and court processes rather than self-help lockouts. Option C. Eviction is handled only by the listing agent. Option D. Tenants lose all rights after one late payment. The correct answer is option B. Landlords generally must follow lawful notice and court processes rather than self-help lockouts. California landlord-tenant law requires proper procedure, and self-help evictions can create liability. Lockouts without lawful process are risky and often improper. Listing agents do not conduct evictions by default. Late payment does not erase all tenant rights immediately. Question 23. Sudden movement of soil by a flood changes a boundary visibly. Which term best fits the sudden event for Priya and Ventura? Option A. Amortization. Option B. Subagensky. Option C. Devulsion. Option D. Accretion. The correct answer is option C. Avulsion. Avulsion is a sudden loss or addition of land by natural forces such as flooding. Amortization is loan repayment over time. Subagensky is an agency relationship. Accretion is gradual buildup. Question 24. Why does ability to repay matter in residential mortgage lending for Ethan in Riverside? Option A. It applies only to commercial leases. Option B. Borrowers may ignore income if the house is attractive. Option C. Ability to repay is a zoning test. Option D. Lenders must consider whether the borrower can reasonably repay under applicable rules. The correct answer is option D. Lenders must consider whether the borrower can reasonably repay under applicable rules. Ability to repay standards are intended to reduce unsafe lending by evaluating repayment capacity. Residential mortgage rules are separate from commercial leasing. Property appeal does not replace financial underwriting. Zoning regulates land use, not borrower repayment ability. Question 25. On a closing statement, why is the buyer charged prepaid interest for Asha in Pasadena? Option A. Interest may be collected from closing through the start of the first regular payment period. Option B. It is a penalty for asking questions. Option C. It is the same as title insurance premium. Option D. It pays the seller's moving company. The correct answer is option A. Interest may be collected from closing through the start of the first regular payment period. Prepaid interest covers loan interest for a partial period before regular payment cycles begin. Asking questions does not create a lawful fee. Title insurance premiums cover title risk. Moving expenses are private costs unless separately agreed.